Remember, this is HopeGrill. I'm your Hope Catalyst, and I will be taking you, to meet my guest this evening, and we have a lot of things in stock for you. Trust me, this evening's show is life transforming, is life changing, it's inspiring, and it will make you experience hope as an individual. I have, like I told you, someone very, very interesting this evening. But before I go to my guest this evening, I'll tell you a little bit about my week and some of the things that happened to me during the course of the week. And somehow it's going to be fusing into what we're talking about this evening. Moki Ajilaye said that we as people do not have anything to do with broken lives. And I'm just going to take the quote like she put it. She said, we have no business living broken lives. My guest this evening has gone through a lot of brokenness. However, she has come out of the brokenness. And the topic we'll be looking at this evening is finding purpose in the pain. Finding purpose in the pain. So you might have gone through so many things, but I'm sure that at the end of this evening's show, you will have purpose out of your pain. Out of your pain. Good evening, Sheye. It's good to have you in the studio this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Krista.
And you look absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Because I was actually thinking about it, and I was asking myself, I was wondering, what to expect, because it's the first time we're meeting in person.
Yeah.
And I must say you're doing such an amazing work, even though my viewers this evening have not heard your stories. Can you please just introduce yourself to my viewers?
Oh, thank you, Krista. My name is Oluwaseye Olaitan. I'm a caterer. I love to cook. I love to bake. I'm very passionate about the hungry. I love to feed people.
Wow.
And I think that is something God has laid upon my heart over the years to do. I'm also passionate about the younger generation.
Okay.
I love to find out what is going on in their minds. Because most of the time, I just like to observe younger people. Like, okay, when I see them in groups, I just want to know, okay, why is this one quiet? What's going on? Probably because of what I have experienced.
And I don't want to talk about your experiences because I think it's an absolute interesting experience, and I will want you to be telling my viewers about that this evening. But remember, if you're just joining us on HopeGrill, this is where we eat, breathe, live hope by teaching, infusing, and experiencing hope. And we're talking about finding purpose in the pain. Finding purpose in the pain. Tell us about your experience, or tell my viewers about your experience, because I know you just talked about observing children, wondering what's going on in their minds, and what led you to that point of observation of children.
Okay, one thing I've observed is that our minds, whatever we fill it in, would shape us at the end of the day. Growing up. So I always use this illustration. It's just like planting. For example, you have planted something, and then you expect it to grow. There'll be weeds around it. As it grows, there are weeds around it. So it is either you cut off those weeds to enable the plant grow properly. So in the same way, in our lives, there are things that, there are weeds in our lives as we grow. If we're not careful, it grows with us. So the best thing is to cut it off right from the root before it grows, and then we think everything is okay with us. Meanwhile, there are things we have bottled up and we haven't let go.
Wow.
And then we end up growing with those things. And we think everything is fine, because everything is actually fine until we try to achieve our God-given purpose, and then we're struggling. For me, it was fear.
Wow.
For me, it was fear. I battled with fear for years. Why? Because I had something when I was growing up. I remember when I was a child, we traveled to Abuja with my family. Okay. And my dad has been talking about a particular restaurant. Like, the woman is good, she cooks well. So we went to have lunch. And getting there, I'm the third of 4 children.
Okay.
And sitting down, okay, my dad arrived. Oh, sorry, the woman arrived, and the first thing, she looked at me because my dad introduced us one after the other, and she looked at me, she was like, now your pikin be this. As a child,
now your pikin be this. So you're listening this evening and you're saying you don't understand what now your pikin be this means. It means, is this your child?
And then I was very young. I can't remember the age. I think I was over 9-10 years. I can't remember. And then I imagined what I looked like. I was wondering, okay. I looked at my siblings, okay, what is going on here?
Wow.
But that's kind of, it's like sowing a seed. She sowed a seed which I wouldn't call a pleasant one, because it affected every other aspect of my life. For example, you know, I began to, you know how the devil is now. The devil always brings imaginations, different things started playing in my head. And I remember when I got to school, it was like, okay, this has been said. And then I got to school, and then most of my mates, they look at me and they're like, how come you don't look like your siblings? And like putting a signature on what the woman
first person had said.
So it's like, it's a seed, so it's beginning to germinate now. So those are weeds. It's beginning to germinate. And I'm wondering, okay, what is happening? I was a child. And I'm like, then, one thing I would really like to correct. I don't know. I'm not a parent, but
you're not a parent yet.
Yes. But I think because it's like it's like a bottle, an empty bottle. If parents could kind of fill it with positive words, whatever someone says out there wouldn't matter to me then.
So if you're, I think I need to reiterate this for our viewers this evening. So if you're listening to me and you're a parent and you're planning to be a parent and you hope to be a parent someday, positive affirmations are the ways to go for a child. You need to positively affirm your child as much as possible, as often as you can do it. And very soon, I mean, that just, you know, popped in my head, because I'm going to be having somebody on the show very soon that is also going to be saying a lot more about positive affirmations. Please, can you just continue your story? Because I'm finding myself sucking into it, because I just want to get to the end of it. I'm like, what happened?
Okay. So then, after all has been said, and I got to school, everyone tend to look at me, and then I hear, okay, she's got a flat nose.
Wow.
She's got black lips. And I'm like, okay, you know, it's like everyone is just signing and kind of adding to what the first person has said. And so I just concluded, okay, it's like there's nothing good about me.
Wow.
And so, you know, when you do not appreciate yourself, then people tend not to appreciate you. And even if they do appreciate you, you cannot see it, because you do not love yourself. You can't give what you don't have. You cannot give. So then I struggled with it. And it affected me. I battled with fear. Yes, I battled with fear, because I remember there was a time, you know, where we have to speak probably in front of a class. And before I'm called on, I'm beginning to shake, like, okay, I've got a flat nose, black lips.
So
okay.
you mean all of that affected everything?
Yes, it was playing in
you?
my head, like, okay, they're going to laugh at me. And before you know it, my voice is shaking. Okay, there's nothing good about me.
Wow.
You know, something as little as that, you know, so someone else would look at it and like, okay, what's the big deal? But then, you know, it's a seed. And so a lot was already going through my mind.
Your mind.
So I grew up with it to a point. And then I didn't understand what it means to speak positive words to yourself. You know, I had to practice it with time. And when I wake up in the morning, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, Share, you're beautiful.
But by the way, Share, I think I should tell you, I mean, you are so gorgeous. I walked into the studio and I saw you and I said, oh, she's so beautiful. And I mean, I really didn't have the depth of the story the way I'm having it now. And I must say, whoever told you or made you feel less than yourself, trust me, they don't know you. You look absolutely absolutely gorgeous. The flat
Thank you.
nose
Yeah,
is part
I
of the
know.
making,
I
the
know.
looks, the color, the height. I mean, you are so tall. Some of us are
you know
so
what?
brief.
You know what? A few days ago, I came across one of my passport photographs. I would have brought it here. And I think it was years ago. I said I had the chubby cheeks and everything. And I looked at the picture. I was like, so why did you feel less of yourself then? Oh my God, I look so beautiful. I was like, oh my God, look at me. I was like, so why did I feel that way then? And I'm like,
So today, I mean, because when we're backstage, we were talking about it. I know that, the journey of the low self-esteem and the fear came from the negative deposits from different people. Well, starting with that woman that owned the restaurant, then it got, it just kept building up, following your friends in school and everything, and it wasn't even helped by the fact that the parents didn't even observe to be able to know, because you started by telling us about when you see children, you want to observe them and
Yes,
be sure what's going on in their minds. And I know that today you are a caterer. In fact, your profile says you are a proud caterer.
Yes.
What informed the choice of career for you? Because I mean, some of us cannot cook to save our lives, So when we see amazing cooks like you, and I mean, you brought me a beautiful present. Thank you very much. You're far too kind. So tell me, what informed that decision to go into catering or cooking, as the case may be?
Okay. When I was young, everything still plays back to growing up. I remember when I was young, like I said, I'm the third of 4 children, and I remember then most of the time I'm always in the kitchen. I find myself in the kitchen.
Wow.
I love to cook. I love to cook, no doubt about that. But I didn't expect to do so much growing up. I remember an incident. I was still young then, and we were over 16 in the house. My dad is the firstborn. My dad happened to be the firstborn. So once we're on holiday, the nephew, the nieces, everyone comes around, and once they're around, Sheye has to cook. Initially, I was like, okay, maybe it's because I'm the last born, so probably later on it will change. My younger sister came. Okay, then I think she was already born, but then I was like, okay, maybe as she grows up, she would exactly. But then it continues, and I'm like, what's going on? Time for breakfast, Sheye. Lunch, Sheye. Dinner, Sheye. So I in my coupled with the fact that somebody has
I was just going to ask you that did the fear and the low self-esteem, did it make you
coupled with the fact that someone has said something about me, it affected it affected my attitude, let me put it that way. So I was just an angry child, like what is going on? And then
it looks to me like there's a link between fear, low self-esteem, anger. I think it's just you start having a lot of mixed emotions. If you're out there and you're listening to us this evening, I'm talking to Olaitan Oluwaseye, and she's a proud caterer. I mean, she's got an MSc. Wow. When I see people who read book, the thing they make my heart do, because that means I need to have a lot more education. And we're talking about finding purpose in the pain that you've gone through. A lot of us have been through pains. We've been through things that we can't even share with anybody, and it just keeps killing us. Sometimes it brings fear, sometimes low self-esteem, and right now we're seeing that it sometimes even brings anger, and you feel a little less than who you are supposed to be. But what we're talking about is how you can find purpose in the midst of all that pain. So tell me, you're telling us about this catering journey.
Yes. So while I was called to do all of that, I didn't know God was shaping me, because now I look back and I'm grateful. It's like each time I remember and I'm like, thank God I obeyed. It's a choice. I could decide to be violent. I'm like, I'm not cooking. And I just walk out of the house. But then I was doing it in pain. I enjoy cooking, but then I was asking myself questions like, why me?
Why you? Why not?
Why not
Someone else?
Exactly. So all of that shaped me to be who I am today. I cook effortlessly.
Wow.
I enjoy it. I can be in the kitchen for days cooking, and I don't feel. I don't feel tired. But if I'm to do something else, I may be tired. But with cooking, I'm never tired. So I think all of that shaped me kind of. So what am I trying to say? There are times because I speak to younger ones, and I know everyone or most people have gone through one pain or the other, or you feel okay, why me all the time? I think the best thing is to look at the brighter side of it. So instead of, the Bible says we should honor our father and mother so that our days
Can be long.
so it's always a choice. That's why I talk to younger people most of the time. Don't ever get to a point where you'll be wayward because you feel you're maltreated. Because there's always something about you being called upon to do things at some point. So most of the time, for me, it was a do I call it a development? I went
For you.
through.
So you basically just went from
It was
this
a
level
process.
of
It was
of
a
the
process.
process. You basically grilled from the point
Yes.
where each day you did those things at home. You prepared you for where you needed to be
Exactly.
in the
But
future.
then I wasn't feeling that way. Then it was like, okay, what is going on? I hope I'm not
I mean,
the maid in this house,
Because I think it's a mix of all the emotions. And
Yes.
I mean, this evening, coincidentally, just looks to me, even though you're not a parent yet, like you're talking to parents out there, because somehow as a child, you went through something.
Yes.
And, I mean, growing up, it affected you, and you are where you are today. If you were to tell parents out there, what are the things, or some of the things that you would tell them to observe in their children that will help them to, have better children or a better relationship with their kids?
For me, what I would advise is that parents should understand their children. They are different. Your firstborn cannot be the same as secondborn or the thirdborn.
So everybody's
So,
unique.
Yes, everyone is unique their way. So it is the duty of the parents to identify their strengths and weaknesses and work with them. You can help them, you can strengthen them in terms of their strengths. You strengthen them more, and their weaknesses you work with them, not condemning them. You work with them, because who knows, as you work with them, you can actually their weaknesses can be turned into strength. Now, for example, I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, I'm sorry, I always relate to the word of God, because
it's fine.
the Bible says, train up a child in the way it should go. Most of the time when people hear train up a child in the way it should go, it's not just about, okay, teach them to study the word, also train them morally, in terms of their God-given talents. Everyone, the way the society is, they will always celebrate doctors, celebrate lawyers, and then when you hear someone saying, I want to be a barber, and then you're like,
What's that?
what's that? Someone has actually said to me, someone was said to me, and the person was like, okay, all your years in school, you mean you're going to spend it in the kitchen? So you have to, I think parents should understand the strength of their children and help them become what God has called them to be, not trying to make them be who you want them to be. Make them what God has called them to be. So it takes two to tango. While the child is trying to discover her gifts, you pray to God to help you to be sensitive to the child's gift.
To be sensitive. I think
So
I like
that-
the word that you've used.
So that once you notice it, oh, I think my daughter is good with drawings, and then there's a way the Holy Spirit will help you to be able to kind of work with the child to become who. Probably there's something about that drawing that child loves to do. You know, there are times when you're like, you're always drawing, and you start beating the child, go and do your own work. No,
I think a lot of parents are guilty.
You just have to
that.
You have to be attentive and try to understand. It's okay. Yes, you have to do your own work, but you know, you can kind of create a timetable. Like, okay, you love to do this, right? At so time, and I'm sure the child will even love to do it when the child should be playing, because you know something you have a passion for. You do it effortlessly.
Thank you so much, Sheye. I'm going to come back to you, and really what I'm going to be asking you last is your last words for the viewers. If you just joined us on Hope Grill this evening, what we do basically is we'll help you eat, breathe, live, and just walk in hope. Irrespective of whatever you've been through, what you're going through, you are able to live life to the fullest. I'm going to be hanging out with parents of children with disabilities in Enugu sometimes next week, particularly on the 1st of March 2018. And if you are in Enugu, or you are a parent of a child with disability and you live in Enugu, I mean, you're going to enjoy the heart-to-heart talk with Crystal in Enugu. We'll be sharing with you the details of you know, the program, and if you want to be about a part of it, all you need to do is sign up and you can join us. This is Hope Grill, and with me this evening is Sheye Olaitan. She's such a pretty woman that has spent the beginnings of her life, you know, living in fear, living in pain, living in, you know, low self-esteem, and not really knowing what to do with herself. That even led her to, you know, as she was doing her house chores and cooking and all of that, she did not know that she could find anything purposeful in what she was doing. But today, she has a big confessionary. She's doing very well. She talks with younger children, younger people, to help them live life to the fullest. Sheye is a maid. She's a caterer. She's doing very well, and all of these things came from the pain of what she has gone through. If you're going through any pains and you're going through any challenge this period, this evening, I want you to take time to look back at whatever you're going through, focus, and see how you can, you know, transform that and change that and turn it into purpose. There's always, you know, purpose in the pain that we are going through. I'm sure one of these days I'll also share my story with you, but that's for another day. Can you please just, you know, tell the viewers in, you know, very short words, the things that you would like them to remember and how you want them to grill hope as you go?
Okay, my viewers, most especially the younger ones. You know what? There is something God has created you to do. The earth is so big. So there is a space for you. And that space is going to be vacant if you don't occupy it. Everyone has an assignment. So don't you ever feel you are less of what? Of yourself. So make sure you discover your gifts and occupy that place. Everyone has a gift, and it is our duty to ensure that we discover it and fulfill that purpose which God has called us to. So please, if you're feeling any pain or you think you're a nobody, look out for what you're passionate about, things you do effortlessly, and trust me, that may be a sign.
Thank you so very much, Sheye. Thank you so much for coming this evening. And remember where we started. We said you have no business. Moki Ajileye said, you have no business. We have no business living broken lives. You have no business staying in that pain. You have no business wallowing in the pain. Just like Sheye has turned around the pain of fear and low self-esteem, and she's made something huge and big out of it. And today, she's a proud caterer. You can do the same with your pain. You can turn that pain around. You can turn that lemon into lemonade.
Yeah.
And I hope that you've had an amazing time this evening on HopeGrill. Remember, if you do not follow Krista across our social media platforms, that's not a good thing. I'm hoping that you can, you know, just follow me. If you're on YouTube, just click Crystal Chibu, and that is the link, and just click subscribe. And across the different social media platforms, just follow, like, ask Crystal whatever questions that you have, and we will have answers for you. Remember, you can find purpose in that pain. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening, and thank you so much for joining us. And you can see a lot of our resources and our materials on our website. Yes, our website is up now. You can check it, crystalchibu.com. Thank you so very much, and have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.